On today's episode, we are going to do so many things. You're going to come along on a thrift shopping trip with me. We are going to try so many new techniques that you may have never seen before. We're going to score some amazing thrift store finds for super cheap. We're going to do a little bit of upholstery and some decorating. This video has a bit of everything. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be fully entertained. Hey guys, I have a really special video for you today. Today we're going to be going to the thrift store and finding some awesome things that I can flip into a French country style. You know I love French country, I know you love French country, and my friend V over on Two Twigs and a Crown also loves French country. So I challenged her to go out to the thrift store as well and find 5 items that she can flip into French country decor just like I'm doing today. But within this challenge, I also challenged her to do one of these pieces in a harlequin pattern, which is like a diamond checkerboard pattern. So I can't wait to see what she does with her pieces. I can't wait to show you what I'm doing with my pieces. I think you're gonna absolutely adore these. If you love beautiful, high-end, fancy decor that is classic and timeless, you're gonna love these flips today. So let's go get started. Right off the bat, I saw this really beautiful French country sign. How much is this bad boy? $17. No. Next, I saw this really cute picture. It was only $3.99, which is a good price. I also like this clock that was behind it, but I feel like it's just not exactly what I'm looking for. I found a few other cute things like this piece right here. Originally brand new, it was $25, and they were selling it for $20. Yeah, right. Let's keep looking. Sometimes these prices are just way too crazy for me, but I swear we're gonna find something that is a good deal. I love that my stores now have shelves in here. They didn't have shelves before. But oop, I think I found the perfect piece that we're gonna start out with. Look, $2.99, yes please. It already looked beautiful as it was, but I prefer lighter colored decor like in whites and beiges. And since this was black, I feel like it was a little bit too stark for my decor, although I know that V, when she does her projects, she loves the black and white decor. It looks so elegant how she does it. So she may have left this black, but I'm going to be doing it in a tan finish, and I'm going to use this crackle medium to go underneath that beige color I'm going to use, and this is going to make a crackly antique finish on here so that the black will show through in all of the crackles. This is the piece that I think would be perfect for that harlequin pattern. So I'm going to be doing a harlequin pattern on top of my beige background, and I think that crackly finish is going to make it look super antique. The color I'm going to use is appropriately called French Linen by Dixie Belle, although there are so many different French beige colors that you could choose from in every kind of paint company that there is out there. You could even just get some craft paint in a nice beige color and use that. You're going to want to do just 1 coat of paint if you're using the crackle medium. If you do 2 coats, it might mess up that crackle finish. So just get 1 good heavy coat on here in your beige color or whatever color you would like to do on your tray at home if you're trying out this DIY. You can literally see it crackle before your eyes. Now it's time to create that harlequin checkered pattern on here. I'm just using this piece of paper and eyeballing it to look even and creating a diamond pattern with these lines. Once that was done, I'm taking a detailed brush and putting on some antique white chalk paint into the diamond pattern. It is almost impossible to find this Harlequin pattern in decor in the store. The closest I have found is a Mackenzie Childs tray, but still, it is not a Harlequin pattern. It's a checkered pattern. So when you can't find exactly what you're looking for in the store, you can always just make it yourself. I'm using a Sharpie now to create sharper lines along the edges of each diamond, and then I'm going to go in with some gold liquid leaf paint to add some gold little dots where all of the diamonds connect. Now I'll use the same gold paint to paint these handles. Didn't this turn out so beautiful? It looks totally different than what we started with. It was originally all black and very rustic, kind of farmhouse looking, and we have gone French chateau, beautiful, high-end decor now, something that is comparable to the feeling of Mackenzie Childs, just done in my way, my style, and to suit my own home. Now let's get back to shopping and see what else we can find. This beautiful gold lamp was $9.99. I thought this was such a beautiful lamp, but not necessarily going to work for today's projects. I also really loved this frame, but for $7.99, I thought that price was a little bit steep. But then I laid eyes on this beautiful French provincial bench. I think it's a piano bench for only $6.99. I know exactly what I could do to turn this into a beautiful French country flip, and that price is absolutely perfect. It's in such good condition too. So let's take this one home. What do you think, Nino? Should we work on that bench? It's time to fix up this piano bench. The seat is vinyl. So I'm just going to clean that and disinfect it, and then we're going to go right over it with the new fabric and save ourselves some time and effort and keep the padding that's in there, since padding is really expensive. Let's make this a much more budget-friendly flip by doing it that way. I also think that these feet need a little something special, so I think I'm going to add some gold to that. But I love the wood tone that it is already. It just needs to be cleaned up and polished up. And then inside also needs to be cleaned up. Let's get started. What? I know. You can help. Yeah. In order to reupholster the top of this bench, I need to remove it from the bottom of the bench. So I'm just going to grab my drill and take everything off and make sure I don't lose any of these screws. Now I'll just clean and disinfect everything really well. I'm going to use that same liquid leaf paint again on the feet, and I just had a hard time getting things done today with the dogs around, but it's just so sweet that they want to be involved. I painted most of each of the feet with a paintbrush and this gold paint because of this inspiration that I found from Williams Sonoma. Of course, their version is very expensive and absolutely beautiful. I'm not going for the black wood on the legs, but I am going to definitely do a blue and white fabric, a nail head trim, as well as the gold on the feet. I didn't want to add the wheels on here though, because I feel like that is just asking for my kids to want to drag this around the house on the wheels. So I'm just going to be putting a new pad foot on the one that was missing on here and keeping the base the way it is. Now that the base is pretty much ready to go, it's time to clean up the cushion part. Since it was vinyl, I'm just going to clean up the vinyl and disinfect it. There's no reason to remove it. It is totally safe to keep it underneath here. I am going to use some Lysol wipes just to make sure there's no kind of bacteria on this at all, since I am a clean freak. And I'm going to go over it with some quilt batting to cover up the shape of the current fabric where it has the piping on the edges, as well as just make it have a nice soft feeling to it before I add on the new fabric. Scout is our foster dog. I would say he's probably barely a year old. He is still very puppy-like, as you can see in this video, always getting into everything, always super curious about whatever anybody's doing, always trying to be in your lap. So he's pretty much the star of the show in today's video. Now I'm just going to use my battery powered staple gun to staple on that quilt batting over top of the vinyl that was already here on the seat. This is going to, like I said, soften up those lines and make it to where I can put fabric right over top of that vinyl without having to do tons of work removing all of that or replacing any of the padding, as that can be really costly. The fabric I'm going to use is this beautiful blue and white toile fabric by Waverly that one of my viewers gifted to me. Thank you so much for this fabric. I have used it on so many things and have so many more things I'd love to use it on as well. Now I'm just going to staple this on. One way that I like to staple the edges is to fold the edges under so that you have a nice finished beautiful edge underneath. That way you don't have to do any kind of trim or anything on the edges. Voila, just like that, it is finished. I really want to add a nail head trim detail to the edge of this, but first we need to get it attached back to the bench. Another benefit to leaving the underneath side of the lid uncovered is to be able to see exactly where the previous holes were to line them up. And for the nail head trim, I'm going to use this little beaded trim ribbon, whatever you'd like to call it, that I get from Walmart in their ribbon section. And I'm going to just use some hot glue to attach it on here. It actually stays on really well, I promise. And I need to kind of antique them a little bit because I feel like they just look a little too new and shiny. So I'm going to go over them with some antiquing glaze just to kind of add some age to them. Once those are dry, it's time to attach them onto the edge of the bench. Remember, this is based off of that inspiration piece from Williams-Sonoma that was so absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to just put a little bit of hot glue on here and work a little bit at a time all the way around the bench. And if you're curious about my glue gun or any of the tools that I'm using in this video, you can find them linked in my Amazon store in my description box. This one is just a really cheap glue gun that you can attach your regular Milwaukee drill batteries to, and it's then battery powered and lasts forever because you're using a drill battery on there. Pretty awesome. I believe I paid like $13 for this one, but you do have to have your own battery from a drill to attach to it and make sure that it's compatible with your brand of battery. Now that I've added that nail head trim, I feel like the gold that I used on the feet is not bright enough, so I'm going to use some gold leaf rub and buff over top of that gold liquid leaf that I used earlier, just to make the feet a more bright gold tone. Wow, this transformation took hardly any work at all, and it was only $6.99 at the thrift store. I am so pleased. Let me know what you think so far of these two projects in the comments section down below. I really can't wait to see what V comes up with for her flips. But let's go back to the thrift store. They had the most beautiful haul tree for 30, or I can't tell if it was $29.99 or $20.99, but absolutely stunning. I just don't have a use for it. And I also loved this really beautiful trunk for $25, and this French country chair that was $30, but it just had so many stains on it, so I left that there. My kids got a good laugh out of this gigantic shoe that was almost as big as two of my feet. I always love stopping by the dishware section because sometimes they have really neat stuff like this cheese cutting board and this really cute French country coffee cup set, as well as these bowls, but they were just a little bit above what I wanted to spend on dishes today, so I didn't pick these up, although they are really cute. And you could definitely stage these in a hutch to get that real Nancy Meyers French country look. I also saw this French provincial print, but it had crayon all over it, and they were still asking $40 for it, so I had passed on that. But I did find this crock for $3.99 that was the perfect shape. Let's take that home. It needs a lot of work, but let's start with a good cleaning and getting the price tag off of there. Somebody had painted on a fun design and made it the way they liked it, but I'm going to take it back to a beautiful stoneware color in a beige to match the rest of my decor and make it look like handmade pottery. I'm using the same French linen color, and I'm going to paint on 2 coats of this chalk paint onto the entire body. Once that was completely dry, it's time to add a little bit of a speckled finish. I'm going to use some of that antiquing glaze that I used before and a really pokey, rough brush and create little dots and little smudges of color on here just to make it look more like an antique, authentic, handmade piece of pottery. Less is more with this approach, so make sure you're only using a very small amount on your brush. Then bring it outside and spray on some triple thick glaze to give it that glazed pottery effect. Once that was dry, it was looking like a real antique piece of pottery. I love these crocks like these, but they can be so expensive. And let's fill it with some florals that I got from Michael's. And also I want to add on a really beautiful saturated green colored velvet ribbon around the lip of the crock. I feel like this will just bring out the color that's on the leaves of these hydrangeas that I'm going to use, as well as just make it look a little bit more detailed and elegant. How stinking cute did this turn out? I think it's so pretty. But let's head back to the thrift store. I saw some more really great pieces like this frame, but it was $4.99 and I thought that was just a little more than I wanted to spend. Plus, I wanted to do something a little more grand for these projects. I also saw this really beautiful French themed chair for $12.99, which was a good price, I think. I don't know, I just couldn't think of a place to put it in my house, so I left that one as well. And I also did see some really pretty prints for $5.99. But I ended up grabbing this metal plate rack for $6.99, And it had these black accents painted onto it, and I wanted to soften it up a bit, so I'm going to go over it with some spray paint in a champagne gold color. And of course, you guys know I always start my painting upside down, so I flipped it upside down first, and I'm just going to do some nice light coats of this champagne mist color until it's completely covered. Once it was all dry, I took it inside and hung it up between my kitchen and living room. I think this is the perfect spot for it. Originally, I wanted to put these square plates inside here, but they just did not fit right on the stand, so I switched them out for these oval ones. I got all of this set on Facebook Marketplace, and it was originally from Ross, believe it or not. I was worried that the champagne gold was going to be too silver looking compared to the rest of the gold that I have in my home, but I think it's actually perfect. It doesn't stand out too much against the wall color, and it looks really elegant and timeless. And here is the brand of those plates in case you were wondering. Now that we have this project done, it's time to go back to the store and keep shopping for even more French country flips. Remember, we have to do 5 today for the challenge. Immediately, I saw this awesome print for $7.99. It has a big old pig on there and a beautiful French country gold frame. And I also saw some really awesome glassware, but it was just really expensive. Each of these was $5. As pretty as they were, I'm not spending that much at Goodwill for a single cup. So I had to skip on a lot of these dishes. I originally had planned to buy this little milk jug, but it was $3 and I was just like, I feel like we could do better. We could find something better. I loved this dish right here, but it was $6 and I loved these as well. I kind of wish I would have bought these, but I didn't. Oh, don't you hate that? But I did end up picking up this little metal planter. I have some big plans for this. It was only $3.99. Once I got it home, I cleaned it up and I painted it with this color called Down to Earth, and I think it looks beautiful and goes so well with all the things I've done so far. And once it was dry, it was time to add in all the beautiful details that make it look even more elegant than it does now. I love that vine that it has on it. I think it adds so much character, but I'm going to add some liquid leaf on here, going with the same color scheme of all the other projects. I'm going to paint the feet as well as the rim and the metal handles. Now I'm going to be using a product that I have not used in many years. It is a lime wash glaze. I will try and link this in my Amazon store in the description box below, but you're going to need a paper towel and a paintbrush for this faux finish. I wanted to create a sort of faux stone texture on here on the beige parts, and so I'm just going to paint on this lime wash glaze. It has a gritty, sandy texture to it, and you're going to paint it on, get it into all the little crevices and details, and then you're going to wipe back the excess with your paper towel until you get the desired look. Then I glued in some foam inside the planter so that I could put in some faux florals. I get all my foam usually from yard sales or from the Goodwill bins. I believe I got this greenery from Michael's. It has a little bit of a fall color to it. And then these I got secondhand. Either they were gifted to me or I got them in the Goodwill bins. I can't even remember, but they have a beautiful sparkle all over them. And I think they're perfect for fall decorating right now. So I'm going to arrange them into this planter. Then I'll add in some light tan colored Spanish moss just to finish it off and give it some nice details. Again, I got this Spanish moss from the Goodwill bins. Almost all of this stuff is secondhand. But what do you think of how it turned out? I really love that faux stone look. What do you think? I feel like this might be controversial. What do you think? You like it? Yes? You can talk if you want to.
I love it.
You love it? That's my
Yeah.
youngest. She's helping me with the voiceover. Let me know what you think in the comments section down below. One of my favorite things about creating your own decor with secondhand items or just fixing up items you already have in your home is that you can create them all within the same color scheme. So you can decorate with them like mixing and matching and create vignettes that are just absolutely beautiful, custom to your style and your home, and so elegant. I feel like when you combine all of the similar color schemes together, it appears as though everything was just custom built for your home and your style. I played around with the items and decorated with them in different places in the house, and I feel like they actually all went really well together in this one area of my home. So this is like a hallway area in between my butler's pantry and my laundry room and my kitchen, and I thought that this actually made this area look so special. I love having that tray as the backdrop in this spot. I have been trying to figure out how to decorate under there for so long, and I picked up that clock right there for $6 at a yard sale, and I'll show you that in a future video. Yeah, that's right. You were there, remember? I think it all came together so well. I cannot wait to see what V has come up with. But let's just take a look at everything all together and get some ideas for your own home and get inspired to create. Don't forget to go to my description box and get the link to V's video over at 2 Twigs and a Crown so you can see all the cool things that she created. I can't wait to see it myself. I haven't even seen it yet, and while I'm editing it yet, I haven't seen it yet, and I cannot wait to see what she comes up with. She is like the master of details, and her decor is so elegant. So be sure to head over to her channel right after you're done with this video and see what she came up with. And please let her know in the comments that you're coming over from my channel. I'm sure she's going to be so glad to have you over there. She's wonderful. But thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to hit subscribe down below, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Bye.